They basically did what they set out to do this summer.
Yeah, they got LeBron James.
All right, Kevin, you're not being deposed. Welcome to the Ringers NBA Offseason Award Show. Thank you for joining us. My guests today are Kevin O'Connor and Danny Chau. You guys are kind of like our jury for who wins these awards, and I'll be judging of your nominees who should get the final award. And we're going to start with the best new acquisition, not named LeBron James. Kevin, who are you nominating?
Luka Doncic.
Ooh.
Luka Doncic. You have now. Dallas Mavericks have Luka for maybe 8 years now as the cornerstone of their franchise, with a potential franchise-changing talent. Doncic can become a two-way star who really sets them up for long-term success into the 2020s.
And this was an acquisition, right? Like they had to move up, but do you think that they'll ever regret giving up that extra first-round pick for Doncic?
You know, it's possible, but the 2019 draft is a little bit weaker, so maybe not. I think they can push for maybe like the 9 spot, the 10 spot, like at least make a playoff push with their team. So no, I don't think they'll miss that.
All right, Danny, who are you nominating for best acquisition not named LeBron?
I got the best player not named LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Steph Curry. I got Kawhi Leonard.
That's a pretty good pick.
The Raptors are back.
Yeah, the Raptors are back. Were the Raptors ever gone? I guess that's the question.
I had done my premature burial over their extremely disappointing postseason. I want to take it all back. I want us to delete the article. I know we can't do that, but
no, I know. It's really
it'd be
journalistic
great if we could.
ethics run deep here at the Ringer. We have to keep that up.
Even if it doesn't work out, even if he bolts for another team next offseason or during the trade deadline, the Raptors have finally gotten themselves out of this pit of misery. Like, they have been through the same thing for the past 3 years.
1 year of Kawhi, and the chance of keeping him is better than 2 years, maybe 3 of DeMar DeRozan.
Somewhere at the Drew League, a single tear rolls down DeMar DeRozan's face. All right, I'm going to give Danny this one. Kawhi Leonard is the best offseason acquisition not named LeBron James. On to the next award, the best bargain not named DeMarcus Cousins. Kevin, who you got?
Wayne Ellington going back to the Heat for a 1-year deal, $6 million. He was one of the better 3-and-D players in the league last year. Shoots threes at a high rate, not just spot up, but off screens as well. And he's a pretty solid defender as well. I'm a little surprised that nobody offered him more of a long-term deal or even a more lucrative deal. We saw Trevor Ariza for 1 year, $15 million. I'm a little bit surprised that Ellington only got the 1 year for $6 million.
Yeah, it's also funny because Wayne Ellington kind of gets swallowed up by all the other Wayne Ellington-style players that are on the Heat, and you almost wonder if he was on a different team, on maybe even a team like the Rockets who were trying to make a run, if he would pop out a little bit more to your casual NBA fan. Danny, who do you have for the best bargain not named DeMarcus Cousins?
I got Brook Lopez, who signed a 1-year deal, $3.4 million with the Bucks, and the reason why is because the Bucks need innings eaters.
Yes.
They need guys who are competent on their own, and Brook Lopez is one of the most offensively well-versed centers in the league, and he's shown phenomenal three-point shooting ability over the last 2 or 3 years. He knows his way in the post. You take a guy like that, and you just put him in there for a couple minutes, kind of fill in that Greg Monroe.
I like it. No, Greg Monroe. I love that.
Yeah, I think...
Can they make up for his maybe less than stellar defense?
Absolutely. It's not really a matter of them trying to use him as a star player.
Okay.
But he can be a star in his role, and his role's not going to be very big, but you put him out there, and he's going to give you double-figure points.
I just want to throw one more name out there for a bargain not named DeMarcus Cousins, Marcus Smart. Boston's had a lot of roster turnover over the last couple of years. They're going to have what feels like a new team next year, but I think Marcus Smart's basically the soul of this team. During the playoffs, when they were without some of their best players, he really stepped up. Maybe he can't shoot, but he goes after every loose ball. He definitely can't shoot, but he goes after every loose ball. He D's up the best perimeter player on the opposite team, and he is like a vocal leader on that team, and I think is something of a floor general for Brad Stevens when he's out there, when he's not punching paintings in hotel rooms. So I think 4 years, $52 million for Marcus Smart, keeping him in the fold is actually really good business for the Celtics.
No doubt about it. And, with Marcus Smart, he's also a guy that he can be used as a trade asset moving forward. So not only is that he a impactful player, one of the most versatile defenders in basketball, an elite rebounder, all the stuff you mentioned, but also he's a salary that they can use in a potential trade. It's a good deal for both him and for the team.
Someone's thinking like Danny Ainge. We're going to go with my nominee, Marcus Smart. All right, so for the next award, the Rashard Lewis Award for most overpaid. Danny, let's start with you.
This is a hard one. I think I might have to go with Chris Paul.
This is a bad beat. Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean,
yeah.
look, it's 4 years, $160 million. That means he's going to be making an annual average of $40 million in his age 35, 36 years.
Yes.
I mean, look, it makes all the world of sense in the first 2 years when they're still trying and vying to beat this Warriors, juggernaut. But the guy is 6 foot tall. The guy does not have the biggest margin for error.
And his body gave out on him in the most important part of last season.
And they're on the hook for him.
Yeah.
He's pretty much an untradeable contract at this
Is
point.
what Danny's saying right, Kevin, that this is basically paying for 4 years for 2 more years of contention?
I think that's kind of what it is, where the years 3 and 4 are like the tax you're paying for having 2 more years of contention, right? And Chris Paul, I think he's worth it. I mean, it's going to be an overpay, but if he manages to sustain success into his mid-30s, or late 30s rather, then great. If not, you still get the 2 years of elite point guard play.
All right, Kevin, who's your Rashard Lewis overpaid award go to?
Zach LaVine, 4 years, $78 million. Chicago Bulls matched the offer sheet by the Sacramento Kings, which they really didn't have a choice to do. Right. They had to bring back a young, early, mid-20s guard in LaVine. But I do question how much more there is to his game. I'm hoping to be wrong. I was wrong about him in the draft. I had him ranked in the 30s. He's exceeded expectations. Right now, I'm not sure he's any more than like a average efficiency, high volume scorer who doesn't do a lot else. He's not a good defender, not a passer, doesn't rebound.
In a league where scoring 20 points a game doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
Anymore, right?
But it does get you paid.
Yes.
It does get you paid, and I do wonder if the winning impact will be there over the next 4 years. With Chris Paul, you're going to get some winning impact for 2 years at least.
I'm going to have to go with you, Kevin. Zach LaVine gets the award here just because Chris Paul, you're probably going to get some real great years out of that contract. Let's move on to the WYD Award. Is that how the kids are saying it these days? The WYD Award, what are you doing for the most questionable free agency signings? Danny, let's go with you first.
I think it's more of a why aren't you doing anything award. I think we have it. I think I have it as the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
Their biggest move was signing Yusuf Nurkic to a 4-year, $48 million deal, which, if you look at it, that's not the most money that anyone has ever
But
spent
you know
on a
exactly
center.
what you're getting for that.
You know exactly what you're getting, and what you're getting is not taking them anywhere close to the elite echelon in the West.
Yeah.
And in addition, I mean, they're also my nominee as well, the Portland Trailblazers, because it's not just Nurkic either. It's the fact that you lost Ed Davis, who somehow, also another bargain, signed for only 2 years, $10 million for the Brooklyn Nets.
Arguably the best backup big man in the league.
And beloved in the Portland locker room, which is
absolutely.
another thing worth keeping in mind.
Exactly. And then also bringing in Nick Stauskas rather than Pat Connaughton. I think Connaughton's a better player than Stauskas. Just a couple interesting moves.
Yeah, it's also like another move where I feel like, because this happened with Will Barton, where Portland, whether or not you think it's good business, good basketball, bad basketball, sending away people who are really well liked within the locker room, especially well liked by guys like CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard, is an interesting play. Let's just put it that way.
And then not trading either of those two stars.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see.
So the Blazers get the WYD Award. The next award is for Ring Chaser Award, and we haven't had a lot of ring chasers this year, unlike years past. Maybe that's because this year it might be a little bit more cloudy about who is actually going to get the ring than maybe in the past. Like, it's another run for the Warriors, who seemed a little bit exhausted by the end of last season. So, I mean, maybe I'm just telling myself things to make me believe in things. But Danny, who's the ring chaser this year?
Arguably the greatest ring chaser of the last 2 decades, DeMarcus Cousins.
It's pretty wild, man.
Yeah, he's getting paid what, $3.5 million to sit, rehab, do his Zatarans ads on Instagram. He's still on the hook for these Zatarans ads. He's still doing John Belayev plugs. I mean, that's a great life right there.
I wonder if there are journeyman NBA players out there who have like local sponsorships in like 11 cities. Like, is Dwight still doing Houston ads that we don't know about? Kevin, what do you think? Is there anybody else who could even contend with Boogie for this award?
I'm not sure there even is anybody. I'm not sure if Cousins is even a ring chaser. The only reason Golden State was able to sign him is because nobody else wanted to pay a guy that's going to be out until January. At the least. Nobody wants to pay a guy with the locker room issues that he has. Nobody wants to pay a guy when he's at risk of getting hurt again. I think it was just really, the stars aligned for Golden State to get him, and it just so happened They are the best team in the league. I'm not sure it's ring chasing as much as there's literally nobody else.
Yeah, maybe we actually are coming to something of an end of this era of guys going and just saying, okay, I'm sure that in the middle of the season we'll have a bunch of people joining teams to just bolster the back end of the benches and add veteran leadership or whatever.
And it's always going to happen, I think. It's just, for some reason this year
wasn't as naked. I think Ariza is a really good example. We thought Ariza was going to go to the Warriors. He winds up going to one of the worst teams in the league.
So I guess we should preemptively give this to Kendrick Perkins signing with the Lakers.
Yes, just to keep Rondo in check. All right, so Boogie gets the Ring Chaser Award. The perception winner and loser. So we've done winners and losers for the actual NBA offseason. You can check out that video. But for perception winners and losers, how did our perceptions of these teams go up or down? And Kevin, let's start with you. You have a winner and you have a loser.
So the loser is the Kings.
Yes.
Right? Drafting Marvin Bagley with a second pick, wonderful. But then he struggles in Summer League, hurting your perception even further. Then you're
hurting his hip in the process,
Yes, exactly. I mean, there's just a couple of things this summer where the Sacramento Kings have not helped themselves.
Yeah.
Even if in reality it does turn out well for them, maybe Bagley turns into a good player. Right now, their perception makes them a loser.
Also, heavily flirting with restricted free agents who were probably never going to sign with him in the first place. And never making that power move like Chicago did with Milwaukee to get Jabari. They kind of flirted with Zach LaVine. There was talk about them with Marcus Smart. And then they wound up kind of, holding the bag, right?
Yeah, and then they signed Bielitsa for a long-term contract. I like Bielitsa to be fair, but I do wonder if that's a little bit of an overpay.
Can't have enough of them.
All right, Kevin, we got your loser. Who is your winner for perception winners and losers?
My winner is the Lakers, of course. And it has to be the Lakers. That feels like the basic pick, but it's the truth. They were a franchise that hasn't made the playoffs since earlier in the decade, and now they have the best player in the world that's been to 8 straight NBA Finals. There's no better change in your perception than that.
Danny, who's your winner?
My winner is the Raptors.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
Ooh.
You know why? Because they're back.
Whoa.
They're back.
I want to take you to task on whether they're back. They were pretty good last year. They had a great season last year.
Yes, but we're talking about perception here. By May, they were rock bottom, Yeah. And now they're back.
Yeah, new coach, new star player. A new, a run now where they're going to try and convince Kawhi to stay.
Right.
We saw with Paul George that Oklahoma was able to take that 1-year tryout and really entice him to stay. He signed a 4-year deal with Oklahoma. So yeah, maybe you're right. Okay.
And you know what? We've heard from some source from the close in his camp that he might turn out to love Toronto.
Yeah,
I don't doubt it.
Sure.
He could also be like, I hate wearing these jackets.
And that source was definitely not Masai Ujiri calling from a scrambled phone. The loser for you, Danny.
Oh, it's probably the Wizards.
Yes.
Who,
Dwight.
Wow.
Yes.
This locker room, are we getting a published book on just the archives of this one season?
I really hope so. I really, really hope the oral history is in progress.
Who's out there? Dan Steinberg should absolutely be right.
It's a real hold my beer summer for the Wizards front office. They were like, okay, what was some of the problems we had? Floor spacing, but also chemistry. Let's get Dwight. Let's get Austin Rivers, who likes to hold the ball and dribble around a lot. It was a staggering summer.
But I mean, the entirety of Dwight's career has led up to this moment.
Yeah.
As he so eloquently described this past week.
I honestly like their summer, to be honest.
Yeah, man. Kevin, here's the quote of the summer is John Wall saying, we're not going to brag as much going into this season. If John Wall is finally be convinced to take it down a notch, things are bad. Yeah. I'm going to go Wizards as a loser, but we'll go Lakers as a winner. And bringing the Lakers up again, we want to give a Lifetime Achievement Award, the Tampering Works Award, to Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson. Look, you don't see John Hammond on Jimmy Kimmel saying we can't wait to get our hands on Giannis, right? These guys had the opportunity to make their case in public. Was it on the edge? Some people say yes, some people say no, but what they did ostensibly worked because they basically put it out into the world that they were star hunting, and unlike the Sixers, they got a star. And they may be in the market for one next year, too. So you have to basically, we're not accusing the Lakers of tampering. We leave that to the NBA to do those kinds of litigating. But I just think it was, they basically did what they set out to do this summer.
Yeah, they got LeBron James.
All right, Kevin, you're not being deposed. Robert Mueller isn't over there. Wrap it up here. America's next big free agent. We've been watching Kawhi Leonard just executed his own free agency. He basically announced where he wanted to go. He didn't get to go where he wanted to go, but he did get out of San Antonio. Who is the next big star that you think could say, hey, I'm not staying here, so you guys need to do what you want to do, and here's my preference? Danny.
I think it's Kevin Durant, actually.
Interesting.
You know, one more year with these Warriors, one more year of the media just completely on his back. He's going to eventually want to change the narrative. What better time than, you know, another cap spike coming up this next summer? The rumors of him and Kyrie maybe doing a little something.
Somewhere I feel Pat Riley throwing all his rings on the table.
So, yeah.
Kevin Durant.
I'm in.
Okay.
Well, KD's a goner in the next 2 years, I would think. The guy who's like maybe a little bit more questionable for me is Anthony Davis. We'll see how this season goes for the New Orleans Pelicans with Julius Randle now instead of DeMarcus Cousins. They were better post-Boogie last year. And maybe that continues into this season where they continue making progress. Granted, they also lost Rajon Rondo, who was good for them. They're in a position, the Pelicans are, where this could go really, really well for them. But it could also go sour, losing a player with the upside of DeMarcus Cousins, because he was the guy that was supposed to elevate them, and now he's not there.
If we've learned anything over the last couple of years of working together is we will always find a free agent to start speculating about. And I feel like the Anthony Davis drum has been beating for a while. So we're going to give Anthony Davis the America's Next Big Free Agent Award. And so concludes our NBA Offseason Awards. Thanks for watching. For Kevin O'Connor and Danny Chau, I'm Chris Ryan. We'll see you next time.